There is a place within you that has never been wounded, never been broken, never been afraid. It is the part of you that remembers the truth before the world tried to make you forget. It is not your name. It is not your story. It is not your past or your pain. It is the light, the eternal light that existed before your first breath and will remain long after your final one. And today, you are being called back to it. You have wandered far, haven't you? Into stories that were not yours, into ideas that told you were not enough, into identities you wore like masks that eventually became too heavy to carry. You forgot the radiance you were born with. You believed that your value was something to be proven, your worth something to be earned. And so you searched in approval, in achievements, in relationships, in the endless noise of becoming. But the more you reached outward, the more disconnected you felt. The more you tried to shine by the world's dim flashlight, the more you lost sight of the blazing sun that lives inside your soul. But you are not lost. You are simply remembering. And all remembering is a form of returning. You do not need to build a new self. You only need to remove what is not you. You do not need to strive toward the light. You are the light. You do not need to fix yourself. You need to unlearn the idea that you are broken. Because nothing real can be threatened. And what is real in you has never dimmed. The soul is never in pieces. Only the mind thinks in fragments. The spirit sees only wholeness. The ego sees only lack. But you, the true you, are not the ego. You are not your fears. You are not the voice in your head that says you are too late, too flawed, too much, or not enough. That voice is a visitor. You are the awareness that watches it come and go. You are the sky, not the passing clouds. You see, the moment you begin to identify with your eternal nature, instead of your temporary conditions, a shift happens. Not a loud shift, not a dramatic lightning bolt, but a soft, deep remembering, like a whisper that says, there you are. You've always been here. The peace you seek is not something you earn through striving. It's something you allow through surrender. And the moment you stop chasing, you realize you were never running toward the truth, you were running from it. Stillness is not something you find. It is what remains when you stop running, when you stop judging, when you stop grasping for the next moment like this one is not enough. Stillness reveals the light. The light reveals the truth. And the truth sets you free not by changing anything, but by showing you what was always already free. You do not need to earn your way to the sacred. The sacred lives in you. You do not need to beg life to love you. Life has never stopped. Love is the atmosphere your soul breathes. Grace is not reserved for saints and sages. Grace is what carries you every day, even when you forget it exists, especially then. Come home to the breath. Come home to now, not the now you rush through, the now you've never fully entered. Right here, in this moment, is everything you've been seeking. The present is not just a place on the clock. It is the door to the divine. It is the only place the soul can meet you. Look at your hands. Feel your heartbeat. You are alive. You are a miracle. Not because of what you do, but because of what you are. And what you are is love, aware of itself. Have you noticed? The world teaches you to chase something more success, more attention, more improvement. But the soul whispers something different. Be still and know. Not do more and achieve, but be still and know that I am. The I am is the light. The I am is the truth. The I am is the God within you, not a deity in the clouds, but the presence that has never left you, even when you walked away from yourself. When you return to this presence, healing begins not because something outside touches you, but because you remember that what you are can never truly be harmed. The past may have shaped your form, but it has not touched your essence. The pain may have passed through your body, but it did not stain your spirit. You carry scars, yes, but those are symbols of the strength you had to heal. They are not your identity. They are reminders that even darkness must bow before the light. Let go of the identity that says, I am wounded. You are not your wound. You are the one who witnessed the wound and chose to rise. Let go of the belief that says, I am unworthy. You are not unworthy. You are the very definition of worth for the divine, chose to become you. You are not a mistake trying to be corrected. You are a miracle waiting to be remembered. And if the world tells you to fix yourself, smile inwardly. You are not here to be fixed. You are here to remember you were never broken. The ego wants answers. The soul wants peace. The ego clings. The soul flows. The ego reacts. The soul responds. The ego shouts. The soul whispers. Listen to the whisper. It is not loud, but it is true. It is not urgent, but it is eternal. That whisper is the doorway back to yourself. How many times have you been told that awakening is about becoming someone new? But true awakening is not about becoming. It is about unbecoming, peeling back the illusions, releasing the roles, dropping the labels. The labels were never you. You are not your job title. You are not your relationship status. You are not your failures. You are not your traumas. You are the one who watched them come and go. You are the one who endured and transcended. You are awareness itself. You've been taught to strive towards some higher version of yourself. But let me tell you something radical. You are already the higher version. You are simply hidden behind thought patterns and false beliefs. Like the sun behind the clouds, you have not stopped shining. You have only forgotten your own radiance. The spiritual path is not a staircase to climb. It is a return to the ground you never left. The light within you has been waiting patiently while you searched outside of yourself. But there comes a moment, maybe this is that moment, where you stop and remember the light was never gone. You simply closed your eyes. You don't need more time, you need more truth. You don't need more accomplishments, you need more presence. You don't need to gather more, you need to release. Release the guilt. It's not yours to carry. Release the resentment. It's only poisoning your peace. Release the identity built on proving yourself. You are not here to be better than anyone. You are here to be your truest self. The path to peace is not through adding, it is through subtracting. Subtracting the lies, the stories, the judgments. Underneath all that remains is stillness, presence, grace. And in that space, you meet yourself again. Not the self the world molded, but the self God breathed into being. The return to the light is not a journey of miles. It is a shift in perception. It is the moment you stop looking for the divine in temples and doctrines and begin seeing it in your breath, your body, your being. You are not separate from God. You are the expression of God. You are not on a quest to reach the divine. You are the divine remembering itself. Even now, as you hear these words, something inside you is stirring, something ancient, something sacred. It does not need convincing. It only needs space. It only needs your permission to come forth. So pause, breathe, let your thoughts pass like leaves on a stream. Let your judgments fall away like old garments. Let your soul speak. You are here, and you are enough. You are not here to accumulate power, to manipulate outcomes, or to chase meaning like it's hiding from you. You are here to awaken. You are here to shed illusions. You are here to walk yourself home, not to a location, but to a state of being, to the deep and sacred awareness that says, I remember who I am. And who you are is not what you've been through, not what they called you, not even what you called yourself in moments of pain or confusion. You are the unchanging presence behind the ever-changing story. You are not the weather of emotion. You are the sky that holds it all. There's nothing to defend here. The ego defends. The soul allows. You do not need to explain your existence. You are not a question that needs answering. You are an answer that needs remembering. You are not the mistake in need of correction. You are the miracle in need of awakening. You may have been told that God is distant, watching you from some celestial height, judging your every move. But the truth is this: God is not above you. God is within you. Not in the voice of fear, but in the quiet vibration of love. Not in punishment, but in presence. The divine is not waiting for your perfection. It is living in your imperfection. It is not seeking your sacrifice. It is offering you grace. It is not hiding. It is waiting patiently for you to turn inward and see. This is the power of your stillness. When you stop chasing, stop running, stop proving, you begin hearing. And what you hear is what you've always known, that you are already whole, already sacred, already held. The pain that once defined you, it was the fire that burned away what wasn't real. The heartbreak that shattered you, it was the doorway to a deeper compassion. The disappointment that brought you to your knees, it was the sacred teacher reminding you that you were never meant to stand on borrowed strength. You were meant to kneel in humility and rise in truth. When you stop identifying with the ego story, its need to control, to compare, to dominate, you begin to notice something softer, something quieter, a pulse of peace, a breath of divinity. That's the light returning, not because it ever left, but because you finally turned around to face it. The light is not earned, it is remembered. It's not found in the next accomplishment or the next relationship or the next improvement of who you think you are. It's in the pause between thoughts. It's in the silence between breaths. It's in the smile of a stranger, the warmth of a sunrise, the stillness of an ordinary moment when you suddenly feel home. You were not created to suffer endlessly. You were not placed here to carry generational burdens like chains around your ankles. You were created to remember your power, to remember your presence, to remember that you are a vessel of God's awareness walking in human form, not separate, not forgotten, not abandoned, but chosen, remembered, and sacred. So what now? Now you forgive. Not because the other deserves it, but because your soul does. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is strength that no longer needs a sword. It is you saying, I will not drink the poison of resentment one more day. I choose peace. I choose freedom. I choose to release what was never mine to carry. You forgive yourself too, for not knowing, for holding on, for playing small, for mistaking survival for life. There is no shame in the path that brought you here. Every wound was a crack through which the light could enter. Every mistake was a detour on the map of your soul's remembering. You are not behind. You are right on time. Return to the breath. Feel it fill your chest. That is life saying yes to you over and over again. Not because you earned it, but because you are it. You are life. You are breath. You are love in motion. And every time you forget, return again. Every time the fear comes, return again. Every time the mind pulls you into anxiety, into judgment, into old stories, return. Return to now. Return to the stillness. Return to the light within. There is no final destination, no someday where you will be finally fully okay. There is only this moment. And the more you enter it, not with force, but with surrender, the more you realize this moment is enough. This breath is enough. This you right now is enough. Can you feel it? The release, the loosening, the sacred exhale that says, I don't have to fight anymore. That is the soul awakening. That is you coming home. You see, the great illusion is that you had to do something to become spiritual, but you were never not spiritual. Spirituality is not something you do, it is something you are. You are spirit. temporarily human but eternally divine, temporarily confused but eternally whole, temporarily afraid but eternally held. So walk with grace now, not as someone searching for love, but as someone radiating it, not as someone climbing toward peace, but as someone breathing it, not as someone begging for light, but as someone remembering, I am the light. Every flower blooms in its own time. Every soul awakens in its own season. There is no rush, there is only unfolding. The lotus does not bloom by force. It blooms by allowing, and so must you. You do not need to be louder, brighter, or faster. You only need to be truer. And the truest thing about you is not what the world has labeled you. It is not what you do. It is not how others see you. The truest thing about you is love. Now, breathe into that truth. Hold it like a sacred ember and let it burn away every lie. Let it burn away every story of unworthiness. Let it burn until all that remains is the light. Your light, the eternal light, the light within. And when you walk through this world in silence, or in song, in joy, or in pain, let that light lead the way. Let it pour through your words. Let it soften your eyes. Let it fill every space you enter. You don't have to say a word. Your presence will be the sermon. Your stillness will be the teaching. Your love will be the proof. This is not the end of your journey. This is the beginning of your return. Your return to truth. Your return to wholeness. Your return to the light within. Do not mistake comfort for peace. One is an illusion of the senses, the other a recognition of the soul. Many cling to what is familiar because it feels safe, not realizing that safety built on fear is not safety. It is a prison disguised as a refuge. True peace does not arise from the absence of discomfort. It blossoms in the presence of truth. And truth, when embraced, will shake the foundations of everything false. Not to punish you, but to liberate you from the life you were never meant to settle for. You cannot ascend while gripping the ground. The soul cannot soar when the mind demands control. Let your grasp soften. Let the tension that has kept you locked in patterns of anxiety dissolve into the gentle realization that nothing real can be threatened, and nothing unreal was ever worth protecting. When you release your need to manage the uncontrollable, you create space for miracles. You become available to grace. Do not search for your light in someone else's reflection. You were not born to imitate the fire of another. You are not here to echo, but to express. There is a rhythm, a radiance, a tone that is uniquely yours. When you stop looking outward and begin listening inward, you will hear it. That subtle hum, that quiet vibration, the ancient echo that says, this is me and I am enough. Life does not require your perfection, it invites your presence. And the more you resist your imperfections, the more you reject the very doorway through which your healing walks. You cannot awaken while shaming the parts of you that sleep. Speak to your shadows not as enemies, but as messengers. They do not come to torment, they come to teach. They are not flaws in your design, but fabric in your becoming. Bow to them, listen, learn, and release. Let silence become your sanctuary. Not the silence of avoidance, but the fertile silence where the sacred speaks. It does not shout. It will never compete with your distractions. It waits until you are ready to hear what you've been too busy to feel. In this silence, you do not need to do, you only need to be. And in the being, everything begins to realign with a wisdom that cannot be understood, only trusted. There is a profound intelligence moving through all things. It orchestrates galaxies without your permission. It beats your heart without your command. Why do you doubt that it will not also guide your path? You were not dropped here without purpose. You are a note in a divine melody, a word in a sacred poem, a breath in the eternal lungs of God. When you surrender to this intelligence, You move not with effort, but with grace. You do not need to defend your path to anyone. What is real does not need convincing. What is sacred cannot be explained. Let those who misunderstand walk their own journey, bless them, release them, and return to your own becoming. Your job is not to be understood by the world. Your job is to become a vessel through which truth can live, even if the world is not ready to hear it. No longer seek to be chosen. You were chosen the moment you arrived. No longer seek to be worthy. Worthiness is not a currency, it is your essence. It is not granted by others, it is remembered within. You are not applying for approval from life. You are life. You are the pulse of creation, the whisper of consciousness shaped into form. You do not need to ask for permission to be who you already are. Allow softness to lead. The world may tell you that strength is hardness, armor, impenetrability. But the deepest strength is found in vulnerability, in the courage to remain open when it would be easier to close. Do not become bitter in response to betrayal. Do not become cold in response to pain. Become clearer, become quieter, become so deeply rooted in the truth of your being that nothing can pull you from it. The soul is not fragile, it is unshakable. You who have been through storm and silence, through ache and awakening, you have not been broken. You have been initiated. You have been shaped not into something new, but into someone real. The pain did not disfigure you. It revealed the depth of your being. And now you stand not in the ruins, but in the rebirth. Let others rise in their own time. You are not responsible for anyone else's awakening. Be the light, not the force. Be the invitation, not the instruction. Your example, your peace, your presence, that is your offering. Let the world be drawn to your flame, not burned by your need to change it. Remember, the lighthouse does not chase the ships, it simply shines. As you walk, walk slowly. The soul is never in a hurry. It knows that everything meant for you will find you in the right season. You do not need to chase, you only need to align. With each breath, each surrender, each courageous act of letting go, you come into greater harmony with the truth that you are already home. The path was never outside of you. It was never hidden in a mountaintop or buried in some distant future. It has always been where you least thought to look, beneath your own stillness. The treasure is not ahead of you, it is within you, and you carry it everywhere you go. Return to it, not with force, but with reverence. You are not the caterpillar crawling toward transformation. You are the butterfly remembering its wings. And it does not need to struggle to fly, it only needs to stop clinging to the branch of who it used to be. So exhale. Let the story of struggle fall away. Let the identity of the seeker soften. You have sought long enough. You have wrestled with shadows long enough. You have carried burdens that were never yours to begin with. This is your moment of release. This is your return. Not to a version of you that is polished and proven, but to the version of you that is honest and holy. Return now, not to the self you were told to be, but to the self you were born as. Return to the quiet knowing. Return to the breath that connects you to the infinite. Return to the presence that never leaves. Return to the light within. You are no longer required to chase the illusion of becoming. The path now is not upward, but inward, not a ladder to climb, but a veil to lift. Beneath the surface of striving is a deeper invitation to dissolve the performance, to meet life without the costume, to enter the sacred not as a seeker, but as one who finally dares to see. See what? That you have always belonged, that you have never fallen out of alignment, only out of awareness. Every attempt to be more has quietly whispered that you are not yet, but that whisper was never yours. It was inherited, conditioned, rehearsed. Now, there is a different voice, not loud, but rooted in peace, that doesn't ask you to evolve into someone greater, but to dissolve into something truer. It doesn't say, change yourself. but reveal what has been hidden under layers of pretending. This presence, this clarity, it does not come from mastering life's complexity. It comes from unlearning the beliefs that made you forget how simple it is to be. It doesn't demand force or will. It invites openness. Openness is not passivity. It is power in its most honest form, the kind that doesn't need to dominate to feel safe. It simply stands anchored in what is. If you listen closely, you will feel that life has never truly asked you to be extraordinary. It has asked you to be real, to be fully available to what is true now, not what was, not what could be, but what quietly lives under this breath, in this heartbeat, in this exact moment of surrender. Realness doesn't need embellishment. It needs space. So much of your pain has come not from what happened, but from the effort to hold together who you thought you had to be in the aftermath. You are not the guardian of an identity. You are the space in which all identities dissolve. When you stop defending your idea of self, you begin to feel something greater than self, something vast, awake, and perfectly still. Your growth is not a straight line. It is a spiral, drawing you again and again back to the same lessons, but each time from a new elevation. Don't resent the revisiting. It is not regression. It is refinement. You are being sculpted, not punished, carved into presence, into honesty, into your original shape. Let yourself be emptied, not because there is something wrong with what you carry, but because space is sacred, and it is only in emptiness that the fullness of being can settle in. The mind seeks to fill, the soul seeks to clear. Let what is heavy leave you, not by effort, but by non-resistance. Let your truth be light enough to rise. The call is subtle, but constant, to live without armor, to step through the world not with guardedness, but with gentleness, rooted in trust. Not blind trust in outcomes, but deep trust in your own aliveness. The kind that doesn't shrink in chaos. The kind that recognizes change not as a threat, but as a sacred movement of life through form. You don't need to protect yourself from truth. You only need to stop shielding yourself from its light. Light does not harm. It reveals. It clarifies. It dissolves confusion not by explanation, but by illumination. Let it shine not on who you pretend to be, but on who you have always been beneath the pretending. If you've forgotten what that feels like, don't worry. The forgetting was part of the path. There is no shame in being human. There is only learning, remembering, and the soft courage to begin again. Again, not from the beginning, but from where you are, without illusion, without defense. Can you meet yourself there? Can you allow the silence between thoughts to become your teacher? Can you trust that what you feel when all else fades is enough? You don't need a dramatic transformation. You don't need the stars to align. All you need is to see clearly, to feel wholly, to be sincerely here. That's where the miracle lives. Not in changing the world, but in being so present that even the ordinary becomes holy. This is not the conclusion of your journey. This is the flowering of a new awareness. Not towards something better, but into something deeper. A presence that doesn't need explanation. A being that doesn't need validation. A soul that has stopped wandering and started listening. Let life move through you now without resistance. Let your breath arrive without interference. Let your awareness expand without fear. Let your heart be your compass, not your guard. And most of all, let each moment arrive without condition. Because this breath, this awareness, this quiet is enough. And in its quiet enoughness, you will know what all the seeking was for.